Hey, what's going on everyone? Matthew from TheRightTrader.com back today with another daily crypto update. One of the topics that I wanted to talk about in this video is what are the chances that we make new all-time highs soon, because obviously cryptos have now began to uptrend again, and the next question is when are we going to be approaching new all-time highs? Can we make new all-time highs? So I'm going to go over that once we get to the technical analysis side of things. And over the past 24 hours, we have seen cryptos pull back a little bit. Overall, it's not really a reason for concern in my opinion. It's completely normal. We were coming up on some resistance after a multi-day breakout. So we do need to take some breathers here and there. We can't go up in a straight line. And that's what's happening here. But like I said, it was an expected area to get some resistance at. And I believe that we're still going to manage to hold our short-term uptrend lines. With that being said, could see a little bit of a slowdown, maybe a bit of consolidation, but this is just part of the normal pattern of the recovery. So don't forget to follow me on Twitter for live cryptocurrency market updates, and make sure to check out my premium content for cryptocurrency buying opportunities. I have already released a new one, and there will be more released this month. So definitely check that out. Link to both those things in the description of this video. And let's get started with the Bitcoin technical analysis. We're also going to talk about those all-time highs and the possibility of that happening. So we can see that we're still looking pretty good here. We're still uptrending in the short term. Same thing on the RSI. And what happened is we started facing some resistance from that $9,000 level. And we could see a little bit of a pullback to our uptrend line. We're probably going to get a bounce here. I really feel like this is just the beginning of this short-term uptrend line. So I feel like we are going to manage to hold until we break above $9,000, and then we're probably going to see a little bit of consolidation between $9,000 and $10,000. But our Bollinger Bands are still expanding, middle band expanding higher as well. So all signs are still very bullish right now, still have some nice buying volume. And what I will mention, however, is Bitcoin is actually pretty strong here compared to all of cryptocurrencies. It's actually holding up pretty well. So we're looking fine, nothing to be worried about. Like I said, of course, that's not financial advice, that's just my opinion. Let's take a look at Ethereum next, and I'm also going to talk about those all-time highs. I'm going to go over the Bitcoin chart just because that might be a little bit more clear while talking about those all-time highs, and it just makes more sense since Bitcoin is the market leader overall. Cryptocurrencies do tend to follow what Bitcoin is doing. So what I think is going to happen here over the next few weeks is we're going to move up higher, probably here for Bitcoin, for example, somewhere between $10,000 and $12,788, probably a little bit closer to $12,788 over the next few weeks. And I really think that we're going to see a little bit of consolidation once we get closer to the all-time highs. So we're going to have to put in a bit of a base there. And like I said, the first area for that could be somewhere between $11,000 and $12,788 for Bitcoin. And then, over a little bit more time, we could move up a bit higher and really start consolidating right below our previous all-time highs, right? So that would be closer to that probably $15,000 range. And that would potentially be a little bit of a consolidation between $13,000 and $15,000 at that point. But what I'm trying to say is we will probably, I believe at this point, move higher and really get close to those all-time highs. With that being said, I think it will take some time before we really start pushing and making new all-time highs. That's why I was mentioning those consolidation areas that I think we're going to have to go through and then spend a little bit of time on before we're really able to make new all-time highs. So as far as the time frame for all of this, like I said, probably a couple weeks, a month or two to get into those higher ranges where we could start consolidating. And then, maybe around 3 months or so, there would be a possibility of us starting to really make those new all-time highs. With that being said, let's take a look at Ethereum. And as far as those all-time highs are concerned, it's going to be very similar for a lot of cryptocurrencies in the sense that we're probably going to consolidate, a little bit below those all-time highs. So just think about what I said for Bitcoin, and it can be really applied to all of these. Ethereum probably going to see some consolidation. At first, a little bit under $1,000, so probably around $900, and then probably around $1,000 and $1,200 is where we're probably going to see some consolidation. So right now, Ethereum has a very nice V-shaped formation almost on the recovery. So we could see a pretty quick move all the way up to just under $900 here. And ultimately, that is what I think is going to happen. With that being said, we're obviously coming up on that $600 level where we're consolidating a bit right now. and we rejected that 70 line. I still think that we're going to move higher here in the short term. So over the next 2 weeks, I really think we're going to be able to probably make a move, towards $800 here. And that's ultimately going to be very bullish, right? That's pretty much going to complete this little V-shaped bounce, and then we can consolidate in that higher range near $800, which is, very good place to be in. We're going to go over and take a look at Litecoin next, see what's going on. So Litecoin has been a little bit slower than some of these other cryptocurrencies over the past few days, in the sense that it didn't increase as quickly as others. It's been a little bit more of a slow but steady move higher, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. I think that's really important to keep in mind, and it has been making some pretty nice progress here now that it moved closer to $150 where it's currently consolidating, but we're still pretty steady on the uptrends. And as you can see, we got this lower longer wick here basically bouncing above that $145 support level. So it doesn't look like we're going to see any kind of dip really. Could potentially see a dip to the uptrend line, but at this point I feel like we're going to manage to hold pretty nicely above $145. And like I said, we're probably just putting in a little bit of a base to then move higher above $165 and then get back above this longer term red uptrend line, which is definitely going to be a bit of a struggle right now, but after putting in a bit of a base, it should really be achievable. Let's take a look at Nano next, and Nano is currently in this range between 70,000 and 80,000 Satoshis. That's probably going to continue a little bit longer here, probably a couple more days. I think that it's just waiting on finding enough strength, and really, as long as we don't break below 70,000 Satoshis, I don't really see why there'd be any reason to be concerned. We're going to go over and take a look at Ripple next, see what's going on. So going to go over to the Bittrex chart here, and Ripple is right now consolidating between 84 cents and $1. That is, very logical in the sense that that $1 area is a big resistance level, since it's such an important round number, and it's very key, right? Getting back above $1 is going to be significant. So since it's the first time that we tested that level in a while, I think it's normal that we need to consolidate a bit and get ready to get that strong breakout. But ultimately, it's a good thing, right? Because we're very close to $1, and once we're able to get back above $1, we can really rest assured that we're in a much more bullish scenario than we were just a few weeks back, and we can really, begin that climb higher in that $1 range, hopefully moving towards $2 over time over the next few weeks. Let's take a look at our next cryptocurrency, which is going to be Stellar Lumens. And sorry about that, that's actually NEO is the next one. So we're going to take a look at what's been going on with NEO and just update you all on what's going on. So right now NEO dipped pretty hard back to its uptrend line. We got to bounce off that, and just a lot of resistance around $75 and $85. I'm not too worried about it either way. I do think we're going to manage to hold above this short-term uptrend line and just climb higher along it up until $100. At that point, I think we might see a little bit more of a more serious consolidation, nothing too major, but just a little bit more of a true consolidation and less of a little pullback like we had today, right? This is nothing to be worried about. Let's take a look at Stellar next and see what's going on. So we're going to jump over to Stellar now. And Stellar, big red candlestick here after the Doji candlestick. This is exactly what I predicted. It got such a massive run up compared to other cryptocurrencies that it had to pull back. And $4,500 was that area where it was struggling a bit with. Keep in mind that it's not even that far off from its all-time highs at this point, so it's really ahead of the game here. And we could see a bounce off the 7 line on the RSI. We're already very close to this blue uptrend line. I think we're going to probably get a bounce off that. So, nothing really to be concerned here for Stellar. Definitely seeing a bit of a pullback. Could take a little bit more of a breather in consolidation, but that's normal since it did get, this huge breakout here. So you always have to keep that in mind. These cryptocurrencies, while they are interconnected, some have bigger moves than others, and usually that causes them to then slow down a little bit, wait for others to catch up. Let's take a look at Vertcoin next, see what's happening. So we're going to go over to the Vertcoin chart, and Vertcoin, nice little pullback to the uptrend line. Could get a very nice bounce there, and I think we're going to manage to hold above this uptrend line. It's overall not that steep, and that's where we're going to be trending higher, I think, over the next week or so, as we try to make our way back towards $3.23, hopefully get back above that. Let's go over to Lisk next and see what's been going on. So Lisk is currently experiencing a pullback, didn't really manage to hold around $12.15. Indicators still looking okay, took a little bit of a hit. Now, like I said, we're in a symmetrical triangle for Lisk, and at this point, it really does seem like we're gonna reach the end of this formation, which is currently at around $12.15. So it depends on how we're gonna get there, right? We could see just a lot of consolidation until we reach that end of the formation. Then we're either gonna break towards the upside or downside. Hopefully, the upside here, considering the market conditions. Or, we could see just a pullback and then just very much trend along the uptrend line. At this point, since it looks like we might see a little bit of a pullback across the crypto market, I think that we may have avoided a bounce higher up to the downtrend line. But overall, none of this really matters. I think that we're really just heading towards the end of the formation, and that's what's key here, is to remember that that's around $12.15, and that means that no matter what we do, we should be reaching that level once we reach the end of the formation. Let's take a look at Cardano for our next cryptocurrency. And Cardano is now pulling back close to that $3,000 Satoshi level. I'm going to go over to the Bittrex chart here where I have all my lines drawn out. And just that's a very big support level. So we can expect a bounce there. With that being said, we did dip below the 70 line on the RSI, which means that could see a little bit of a pullback to the uptrend line. Overall, this is just expected. We have a lot of support here for Cardano because our middle band is actually right in line with the uptrend line. So at the worst, we'd get a bounce off that, I think. Very, very strong support levels here for Cardano. Multiple layers of support, I should say. Let's go over to our last cryptocurrency of the daily crypto update. That's going to be IOTA. And IOTA peaked out at around around $2, I guess you could say, right? It was coming up on $2. And right now, we're pulling back. Actually, pretty strong candlestick here, a little bit of a hammer candlestick. But since the market is slowing down, we have a little bit of a double top here. Probably going to pull back to the uptrend line and get a bounce off that. With that being said, this is the end of this daily crypto update. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.